here at the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame, right across the street from the Saratoga Racetrack on Union Avenue, joined by the Director of Communications here at the Hall of Fame, Brian Bouye. Brian, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jeff. A pleasure to be with you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the experience that the visitor will have here at the Hall of Fame and Museum?
Our goal at the museum is to give the visitor a unique perspective of horse racing, to tell the story of all the great jockeys, the great trainers, the horses, and the history of the sport from the colonial days up until the present day. This is a sport where there's been a lot of changes, but a lot remains the same, as you know. The Hall of Fame is an extension of the museum, which honors the greatest horses, the trainers, and the jockeys. We tell the history of the sport from the early beginnings to the modern time. I think you get a varied experience. You get to learn about all the great participants in the sport over the years. We have a tremendous collection of artwork here. We have a lot of exhibits that are interactive, that help younger people kind of get interested in the sport. We have a racing simulator where you can try your luck, see how you would do as a jockey. A lot of neat stuff. There's children's exhibits, artwork, just a variety of things that you can do here at the museum.
Can you tell us about the portraits and the trophies that you have here at the museum and where they come from, who donates them?
It's a variety of stuff. I mean, sometimes things come through private collections, donations. When we have new inductees to the Hall of Fame each year, we ask them if they'd like to donate anything to the permanent collection to kind of chronicle their career. We've got some people who know the movie Seabiscuit very well. They can go out there and they can see Charles Howard's silks that he had on Seabiscuit, and the whip and the boots that were used. And if you remember the movie where Tobey Maguire made his little leg brace and everything to get back on the horse, we actually have that out there. We've got a lot of memorabilia that just is fascinating to people. We've got the shoe from the first Travers winner here that goes back to 1864. A lot of memorabilia that the jockeys have donated. The great Thoroughbred Farms have donated their collection of silks. We have 5 Kentucky Derby trophies in our collection. They come from a lot of different sources. A lot of people donate stuff, private collections. New York Racing Association has put stuff through us. And we also do loans with other museums and stuff. So we do have a variety of ways of obtaining the artwork and the exhibits, that sort of thing.
One thing I thought was very interesting were the old scales that you have there for the jockeys' weight in. Now they're digital. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, I mean, those go back. Obviously, everything now is digitalized and computerized and everything, but those go back to the early 20th century, a lot of those. And it's, most people who go to the racetrack, they've never seen anything like that. I think that's kind of a neat thing. You can come over here. You can see part of the game that you don't see anymore. People see the starting gate, and a lot of people don't realize that the starting gate's only been around since the 1930s. Before that, it was a webbing barrier, to keep the horses in check. But there's just so many things you can see here that tells the history of the sport.
And you have a whole room dedicated to Triple Crown winners, correct?
That's correct. Haven't had to add on to it since 1978, but there is a room that tells the story of the 11 Triple Crown winners, the details of their races. We have a Triple Crown trophy there, videos of all the races, and in our statue gallery we have a banner with the year and the commemorative silks that talks about each of the Triple Crown winners.
And right here we're standing amongst the plaques of all the Hall of Fame inductees. How many are there?
There are 360 inductees to the Hall of Fame, including this year's class. It's fascinating. I mean, you can see the story of the great Exterminator and Man of War and the great jockeys, Eddie Arcaro and Angel Cordero and the great trainers Alan Jerkins and Nick Zito. You can look at all their accomplishments, their records, the big races they won, and this is the room that really gives people chills when they come in. And I remember that horse, I remember that race. It just brings them back to a time, and it's definitely a special place here.
Now you also conduct backstretch tours, that's correct?
Correct. We do backstretch tours every day during the meet. They're $10. They're free for members of the museum, but you can go over and see what life is like on the backside in the morning. You can watch the horses work out. You can see the hot walkers and the trainers working with them and everything, and it gives you a glimpse into a part of the sport that you don't really see on an everyday basis. I think it's for everybody. I mean, people like horses, that can come through here. You don't have to be a hardcore fan of the sport. I think a casual observer can come in and appreciate the artwork. They can appreciate the beauty of the thoroughbred game without, having to be engrossed with who won what race and everything. It's a family-friendly environment, and I think it's something a lot of people really like to come and enjoy.